welcome to this video on the Life After Brady channel. Today we're going to go through the Patriots weekly mailbag with 2 weeks to go. These questions appear from Patriots.com, so we're going to take a look at what we think of them. First one, what do you think the Patriots need to do in order to beat the Dolphins and the Bills? First one, as we've recorded this later in the week, the Dolphins may not have Tua due to the concussion protocol. That will make a significant difference. It does look like it'll be Teddy Bridgewater playing, much more of a game manager. They lost earlier this season against Miami 20-7. You would think it'd be more 24, 27 points by the Dolphins with Tua. With Teddy, that's probably a little bit more manageable. You're looking more probably that 17 to 24 point range. So in terms of maybe people want to hear, all right, keep going with the second half, get the ball to Bourne more, you really want to score. I think you need another Bill Belichick game of game management. No turnovers. Mac has really cleaned up the turnovers the last 4 to 6 weeks. You want to continue to see that. Obviously, no fumbles late in the fourth quarter. 2 weeks ago it was Jacoby against the Raiders. Last week it was Ramondre Stevenson. Obviously, you don't want that. And then, so I think it's that, and then I think it's containing as much as you can Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. The Dolphins have really shown a reluctancy to get anyone else the ball, including the running game. Possibly Marcus Jones out this game with a concussion will be a significant hit, but Jonathan Jones is going to match up much better against these two than last week against T. Higgins and those guys. Possibly concerned Devin McCourty. His speed is not where it was 5 years ago against Kansas City when Tyreek was there, but you'd like to think he's still smart enough, obviously, to get the right angles. So I like it from that standpoint. I also think another week of Ramondre Stevenson getting a little healthier. He's seen less carries the last 2 weeks against Arizona, Oakland, and then Cincinnati. And lastly, I think better use of Bourne. He went for 6 for 100 and a touchdown this past week. I don't see that happening again, but maybe a nice mix between him and Myers really can get your downfield passing game going a little bit more to be able to put up at least that 20 points that you're going to need. The following week, who knows at this point? Buffalo may not have anything to play for depending on how the games shake up there. So that could be a significant advantage for you. And then I think the big thing is just stopping Diggs. That's what they need to do. Buffalo's beat them many ways. It was only 24-10 a couple weeks ago, but it felt way worse than that. I think stopping Diggs is the number one priority, and whatever you need to do that, whether it's Jonathan Jones, whether it's Marcus Jones, maybe Jack Jones back by that point, that's the answer that I would go with. Question, I feel Mac has regressed in his pocket awareness from last year. Have you noticed this as well, in any way to improve this the last 2 games? I think this is a tough one. You don't always know what the play call is, what he's seeing, what he's looking at. To me, he just looks uncomfortable. I think it goes back to what everyone said of this offense just isn't working with Matt Patricia. So I think he's uncomfortable. I think he's trying to force plays too often, really holding onto the ball, which is what I think this person is talking about here, of really trying to make a play instead of what you see with Brady for so many years of that check down to Welker or Edelman or James White. You're not really seeing that with Mac, whether he just doesn't know where the check down is or he's just not comfortable with it. That's, to me, the problem. And I would say he's not really fumbling the ball in the pocket. He's getting sacked. So, to me, he has awareness of it. He just isn't making the right play. It's not like he's getting blindside blown up, strip sack, fumble. He's making some dumb plays, but it's not the Carson Wentz unawareness, I would say, at the moment. Part of me thinks Marcus Jones' ceiling is higher as a receiver than as a DB. What say you? So first off, Marcus Jones was asked a question last week by the Patriots reporter here, and he said he wants to play defense. So I think first you go with that, of if the guy wants to stick a defense, stick a defense. Next up, I would say just the Tyreek Hill thing has really, really poisoned people into thinking anyone with no size that just is fast can go play offense. And I think there is some validity to that, but I see it more as a gimmicky, type of thing. You see Devin Duvernay with the Ravens has really struggled to make consistent plays, but every once in a while he can make a big play. This Patriots offense is really going to stick to the running game, I think, with Ramondre, maybe Damian Harris. They're always going to be a run-first team, at least in philosophy-wise, so a smaller guy like Marcus Jones isn't going to match up that 60 to 70% of the time that you need a guy like Jacoby Myers or Kendrick Bourne can really do at this point. What do you think is a bigger priority between getting a new offensive tackle and a wide receiver one? It is a tough one. I think a lot of it depends what your options are. What's the market out there? Are you trading for one? Are you drafting one? I think if you're trying to draft one, you've seen the receivers can make more of an instant impact than an offensive tackle, especially against with this Patriots offense. Seems to be a little bit more complicated to block for than to run routes for. Um, the obviously receiver market's been pretty, at least a first round pick is required to get a guy, whether it's Devontae or AJ Brown or Tyreek. Versus the offensive tackle market, those guys just aren't getting available. I think is part of the problem. So probably an offensive tackle draft wise that you can really develop because just they're not available in the trade or free agent market. Um, and I would say offensive tackle, to tell you the truth. I think Randy Moss didn't win a Super Bowl with the Patriots. I know that was only a couple of years, but you lean at that point. And I think more just, can your offense get guys open versus if you can't block people, you can't block people. There, you can only scheme up so much to block people. Then you're forced to double team people. So I would lean more towards an offensive tackle that can solidify max time. That is all the questions we have this week. Thank you for joining us again. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe.